You there. This is a restricted crime scene.
Hello and welcome to the Geek Show. I am Rob and I'm here today to talk about a PC indie game by Clifftop Games and Faravid Interactive called Whispers in the Machine. This is available on Steam, and just before I get into my thoughts and feelings, it's all footage from the first hour, so it's nothing which is going to spoil the experience for you. I'm not giving away any spoilers.
Got it.
Now, what it is a classic style point and click adventure game, in which the developers themselves have described it as Sci-fi Nordic Noir. The story, or as much of it as I'm going to get into, is essentially you play a cybernetic investigator, who's on screen there now talking, who is charged with going to a very out-of-the-way town to investigate a spate of murders because there's no seeming clues, and it's kind of confusing the local, albeit limited, constabulary. And naturally, it's bigger, there's more going on than meets the eye, and you get a few hints of that towards the back end of the gameplay that featured here. Now, talking about these things as pure gameplay is kind of redundant, because I'm not going to talk down on the style of game that it is, more in the sense of gameplay isn't really at the forefront of what these things are. People don't play these gameplay. The gameplay, as long as you get the core systems, as long as you get the clicking being responsive, and the movement being responsive, and there being some sort of fairness in the way that the game unfolds. I'm referring there to, I can't remember which Broken Sword it was, but the legendarily awkward, I think it was Goat Puzzle. There isn't anything that's mean-spirited, let's say. But at the same time, it does everything it needs to. It has that sort of core gameplay in place. So everything, as an investigative piece of point-and-click adventure game goes, is as it should be. Now I realise that sounds an awful lot like I am damning with faint praise. That's not the intention, because as well as it getting all of those sort of core mechanics on the perfect, as good as they need to be, it also has added some really rather interesting additions on the evidence that, the lead character is basically cyberneticized, like robot. She's got robot things about her, like additions to her personality, additions that make her stronger, smarter, and more able to do her job. Implants, basically. One of the style of implants is the ability to see fingerprints. Now, when I saw this as a sort of a gameplay characteristic, I was worried because, as beloved as they are, the Arkham games, it had detective mode, if I remember. It's been a while since I played them. But the detective mode, you basically whacked it on, and all the problems and all the issues and all the clues are basically there, done, sorted. No thought, and for a game which is about the world's greatest detective, it didn't really require any detective work because Batman's got a clip on his belt that does everything for him apparently. This is a little bit more intelligent in its design, because you have to actually find something for you to be able to discover something. So say, like, in an early part of the game, you discover the fingerprints of the person involved. So once you've discovered the fingerprints, you can log the fingerprints and look for it elsewhere. You have like a sort of generic smart mode, I believe it's called, that can pick up on things. And once you discovered that initial clue with your smart meter, with your smart radar, with your smart scanner, it opens up you can discover further clues and further clues from that initial thing. So it's not like press R2 if it was like the PlayStation version, which there isn't one of, and then everything's there in front of you and you can discover it, whatnot. You have to build the scene, you have to build the crime scene, and that's when you've got like TV shows like CSI, which is basically clicking return on a keyboard and the clues are all solved. It's refreshing to have to do some like honest police work, even though it's a very science fiction based thing. I think that's where as well as the sort of the darkness and the murders, that's an element of where the Nordic Noir comes in, I think. That's just one of the things that you can do. There's also, she can basically hear or pick up on people's behaviour through heart rates. If there's an irregularity in the heartbeat when you're questioning them, you can pick up on that and you can ask them, what's wrong, are they lying? And it makes her a better interrogator. Again, it signals that irregularity out for you, but at the same time, you don't know to question that person, you don't know to have your heart rate monitor on, unless you actually use a lateral thought that think this person might not be as honest as they're letting on. So again, a little bit more detective work. If you look there in the top right hand corner, there's some of the modes that have unlocked for investigating at this point in time. Additionally, there is part of the game which you cannot access because it's behind something which is locked, or a door which is locked, or something which is locked. Like an early bit again is when a key is stuck. Not a key, a coin is stuck in a la-di-da vending machine. So she uses her super strength. You can see there, the third one on the bottom, the muscle. You click that and you get like a boost of strength for a short period of time. And you can yank that thing or break that thing or go further with the gameplay. So fundamentally, the basics are all there, and it has these little additions in what you can add to your character and what you have with your character that makes the interrogation process, that makes the investigation process a little bit richer and a little bit more interesting. And also beyond that, that's all gameplay stuff and that's all fine and dandy. I just genuinely really enjoy the world that it's set in. You can't say that enough about point and click. Well, actually, no, I take that back. The point and click is absolutely revitalised. Now, who you want to say is responsible for that, I'm not one to like throw my hat in the ring for who said what and who influenced what. But regardless of where this germ of this genre coming back to life again, it's fantastic, because we're in this era where innovation is really coming to the fore, and the idea that we can have a Nordic Noir video game, I mean, it's the sort of era where we're living in, where if you want it, somebody will eventually make it, because gaming in the indie game market is like that. And the whole cyberpunk aesthetic, I guess you call it cyberpunk aesthetic, sort of dirty cyberpunk aesthetic, but rural dirty cyberpunk aesthetic. It's not something which is overdone. When you're talking about this sort of style of game, when you're talking about cybernetic implants, you're talking about Deus Ex, you're talking about the new game from the Witcher people, whose name's totally escaping me right now, sorry about that. But this sort of off the beaten track cyberpunk dirty punk aesthetic. Dirty punk, that's a new type of punk, yes. I really, really enjoyed it. And I hope it gets the audience it deserves because, well, any game which adds its own unique little take on the reviving and the resurgent point and click is cool by my estimation. And that is Whispers of a Machine, and I played it on Steam, and please do check it out as soon as you can, because for my money, it's great, and it's just great, yes.
Sounds like a class is in progress.
But what happens if you do it anyway?
Then policemen, or women, will come and arrest you.
Whoa. Harsh.
It's the law. We mustn't make things that can think for themselves.
But my parents created me, and I can think for myself. Did they break the law?
You make a good point, Alicia, but that's quite different.
Different how? I don't get why it's more dangerous to create a thinking machine than a thinking person.
You think too much, Allie.
No, that's good. You should always ask questions like these.
Doesn't look like I can enter. All right, Maya's place. Let's see if I can find any clues in here. Oddly dense cluster of prints on the corner of this panel here. A hidden safe. Locked, unfortunately, but there... It's a fit. Huh. Since this key was hidden by Carl, it looks like we have a clear connection between the two victims. Let's have a look. A few bags of rare seeds, a bar of platinum, some coins, and a book. The book looks important. I'll take it. Maya must have hidden it here for a good reason. The title is The Conduit Codex. Now, wait a minute. This can't be the Conduit, can it? Those crazy zealots trying to resurrect AI? I think this case just got a lot more complicated. There was a written piece of paper used as a bookmark. I put it aside. Let's have a look in the book.
And of course, thanks for watching. If you have anything to add, please do follow us on social media. That's the Geek Show. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or follow us on Instagram. But until next time, when I'll be here talking about another video game that we've been playing, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. And don't forget to click that subscribe button.